Hello and welcome to our monthly update on what people are watching in the UK. In April, total identified viewing dropped to an average of 219 minutes daily. This was down 4% on both last month and compared to April 2025. This month's What People Watch looks at comedy and news viewing with a spotlight on Last One Laughing Series 2 from Amazon. Starting with comedy as a genre, we see a clear spike in viewing time in December for each of the last 3 years. This is in large part caused by Christmas hits from the BBC like The Ghosts Christmas Special in 2023, Amandaland in 2025, and the bumper hit of 2024 with the final episode of Gavin and Stacey. The data also show a slight increase in the volume of viewing to comedy as a genre since the start of 2023. Over the same period, we see a similar gentle decline in the amount of news and current affairs programming hours viewed by all individuals. Given the content of the news, this is perhaps not surprising. However, cutting for younger viewers aged 16 to 34, we see that the degree to which news and current affairs consumption has fallen with them compared to the overall decline of just under 5% is stark. These younger viewers consumed 40% less news and current affairs hours in Q1 of this year compared to Q1 2023. While major national events like the coronation of King Charles III in May 2023 and the Labour general election victory in July 2024 create spikes, the trend is clearly for lower volumes of news viewing. Part of this drop in news consumption is more of a general trend for lower viewing amongst younger adults. But if we return to comedy, where we noted the overall trend was for a slight increase in viewing volume of 8% in the first quarter this year compared to the first quarter of 2023, if we look over the same period for 16 to 34s and look at their comedy viewing, we see this was down 8%. So the decline is not restricted to news for this demographic. Delving into comedy further to consider the share of comedy minutes by channel group or service, we see that TV company channels and Netflix take by far the largest share. Since 2023, that has averaged 86% per month, with Netflix alone accounting for around 1 in 4 hours of all UK comedy viewing. That may be the case, but it was Jimmy Carr and Roisin Conaty and friends who bought LOL UK Series 2 before us on Amazon. One immediate difference to Series 1 was a more staggered release over 3 weeks rather than the 2 for Series 1, suggesting a desire on Amazon's part to extend the window of interest for the show. The 7-day audience to Episode 1 for Series 2 beat Series 1 comfortably, with 4.4 million compared to just under 3 million last year. That made it Amazon's most watched show of the year so far, the most watched comedy episode from a streamer since Barb measurement of the streamers began in November 2021, and the 10th most watched comedy programme overall in the same period. Reach data showed that newer viewers were drawn to the show. Series reach 7 days after the final episode was released was 5.5 million for Series 1, but 7.9 million for Series 2. The changed release pattern means this isn't a direct comparison, but allowing a longer period, 28 days after the final episode was released, shows reach of 8.5 million for Series 2. That's 0.6 million more than for Series 1. These figures highlight the importance of a returning series. Reach built more quickly for Series 2 when audiences already knew what to expect. In standalone audience terms then, the show was a success for Amazon. When looking at Series 1, we showed that under a third of the programme's audience had not watched anything on the service in the weeks before the series dropped, suggesting that these were new or returning viewers to the service. For Series 2, that figure is slightly higher, with 35% of LOL UK Series 2 viewers having not watched on Amazon in the weeks before launch. This suggests that even with higher episode audiences and series reach, the show continues to help Amazon in gaining or regaining viewers. So with Series 3 of LOL UK already commissioned, it looks likely that Amazon have a recurring hit on their hands that will play a role in sustaining viewing to comedy as a genre beyond Amazon. These viewers went on to watch multiple comedy series across different channels and services in the weeks after release. With news viewing among younger audiences declining more quickly than for other genres like comedy, and their well-documented proclivity for streaming services, could news and current affairs be a genre for streamers to move into? That remains to be seen, but Barb data will provide an independent view of developments either way.